Our top 5 horror films draft is next.
Like scary movies.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
I see dead people.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
They mostly come at night. Mostly.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos.
They're here.
Here's Johnny.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Welcome to Fantasy Picks Movie Edition, the podcast where we review movies that were overhyped but did not make it in the box office or were a critical failure. In some cases, they succeeded with both, but not the hardcore fans. I am your host, Robert Moda. And with me I have today Ralph Levy, Zach Book, Mark Kirkman from Adrenaline Cinema, and Joe.
Thanks for the
From
pause.
down
And
the
Joe
hall.
And Joe.
And this fuck.
How's
You
it
think
going,
after
guys?
7 years, Rob could say my last name right?
Is it Levy or Levy or Levi?
Levy.
It's Levi Strauss, actually. Hyphenated.
I wish.
Levi Strauss. He's all night.
Hyphenated.
So, how's it going, guys?
Not dead yet.
Not dead yet. So this is going to be a great top 5 draft. As you guys know, we are in the season of The Witch right now, or at least coming up to it. So I thought that it would be great to have a top 5 when it came to horror, Halloween, scary movies. Some of you are actually experts on this because I'm actually not the biggest expert when it comes to horror films. Ralph in this group seems to be the one that loves this genre the best. So I figured we're going to get some really good stuff out of him.
You could hope all day.
Who's that?
TV Nicks.
Oh, okay.
It's my new avatar.
Okay. I got a bit of editing to do.
That's the season of The Witch, man. Oh,
jeez.
Tell you. All right.
So we start the show with, us. We're at the same thing as we did with our last one, which is we're doing a draft. We already picked out the who's going to go first, which the person going first is going to be Ralph. I'm going to be going second. Joe will be going third. Mark will be going fourth, and Zach will be going fifth. So the horror films that we're going to pick out are some of the best horror films that are out there, but we're also going to have it in 5 categories because it's not all horror. Let's just say that we're going to try to have a little fun with it. So one of the categories is going to be movie that scared the absolute crap bejesus out of you. So what movie was it that, really, really got you so scared that you had nightmares, you couldn't sleep, or it just lingered in your mind for probably a few days or whatever, and you were like, shit, I wish I would not have seen that. So that's one of the categories. The next one is actually then goes to the extreme, to the other side, which is fun scary movies. So what fun scary movies are out there? And there's quite a few. There's stuff for kids. There's stuff that are just, even though they're for adults, they make you laugh and they're just great movies to watch, especially every year. And then there's also now classic Universal Monsters or B movie. So a B movie, hopefully a Universal Monster movie, but if you don't do one of those, at least one of those 1940s or 1950 movies that were out there. So if you could think of any of those, that would be great too. Of course, we're going to pick the most popular of all monsters, a vampire movie. So that is going to be one of the categories, vampires. And the last one is going to be a slasher film. So there's quite a few slasher films out there. Some of them are a little more supernatural than others. Some of them are even almost sci-fi-ish. if you've seen some of the really bad ones out there. So what do you guys think of especially this genre? This is a genre that from, the start of movie history has always intrigued people. There's been so many different movies out there throughout, film history that have to do with the supernatural or, just horror in itself. Some, like I said, some are fun. Some are big kaiju movies like Godzilla or King Kong and things like that. But there's also, some of the ones that can really just be creepy as hell. And over the years, I feel like some of these directors and writers have gotten better and better. But at the same time, it's hard to break the mold. And there's quite a few movies in here that have actually done that very well. So what do you guys think? I'm going to start with you, Ralph. What do you think of, like, I know you like this genre, and I know you liked you always visit I think Universal Studios for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
But what is it about this genre that that intrigues you so much?
I think a lot of it has to do with the amount of imagination that goes into making some of these movies. And I mean, there is a bit of being twisted that goes along with it, but a lot of these movies are just stuff that was either dreamt up or written about in the hundreds of years before they were made, and seeing this stuff actually come to life and how they bring it to life. And when I was making films in my college career, doing special effects and stuff was a lot of fun. And especially when you didn't have money, having to try to figure it out with like what you had around the house was always just like I'm really into like challenging myself to see how far we could get with as little money as possible. And we did a lot of cool things. And like some of the stuff you even see now, like I know some people that came up with some stuff in college that some of these guys went on to work on movies like Spider-Man and stuff. So it's stuff that didn't die with them in college. Like they brought it to the big screen, and you get to see some of that and interpret it into movies now. And obviously a lot of stuff now is CGI and stuff like that. So practical effects have kind of gone away, but like I always enjoy watching movies that have more practical effects than CGI than anything.
Oh, okay. Cool. And you, Mark, I know you also enjoy doing the horror film stuff, and especially on your podcast, Adrenaline Cinema and Panels of Pixels. I know that you go over a few of the classic horror films out there.
Yeah, we cover a lot. We just finished up a Mega Man on Adrenaline Cinema podcast, but that's more of the more strange stuff that Jerry and I cover. But I was always attracted to the genre for the fact that as a kid I was always scared of this crap, but then eventually I got to enjoy it because to overcome that fear, I got into like special effects. I like to read about the special effects makeup. So I started to, buy those books. There was one when I was in grade school, and it was like a small black and white, and I wound up getting it from the library, and I own it now still. And then eventually, come high school, I was dabbling with Dick Smith's makeup effects, and I started really enjoying the idea of the art of horror, as well as the effects, the practical effects. And throughout the years, I actually got to meet a lot of those effects artists too.
Awesome.
So
yeah, I know that you actually, I don't know if you have a close relationship with him, but I think it's who is it?
Tom Savini.
Tom Savini, right?
Yeah, Tom will actually be on for the my October for Halloween podcast. So we're gonna talk over his career and talk up a lot about his school in Pennsylvania.
Very cool. Very cool. How about you, Zach? I mean, what attracts you to this genre, or are you attracted at all to this genre? I mean, I don't know. I never heard you really talk about anything that you liked in this. I mean, we always talk about the sci-fi part of things,
yeah,
but never the horror part of things.
Well, so Halloween's always kind of been near and dear in my heart. My wife and I actually got married on Halloween, and so we've always been big. Like right now, you know, at the time of recording this podcast, I'm gonna pretend like it was yesterday we decorated, but for like the last 20 days or so, we've had decorations inside our house up. But just that and just kind of the general morose kind of, I don't know, just the art of just kind of the comedy of mortality. I guess it sounds kind of dark, but like I've always been kind of attracted to the darker stuff, whether it's music or anything else. I think that it's one of those things as a human that you kind of have to make light of death and make light of all those things, because like at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that we need to enjoy our time on this planet.
Right.
So it's like I've always kind of laughed at, you know, horror, or like enjoyed that type of entertainment, because I think it's been really entertaining to me. So
Right. Ah, awesome. And last but not least, Joe, I know that you watch scary films. I know you watch scary films with your best friend Nick, and I've seen you. We've actually watched a scary movie together, and I always find it very humorous when I watch you, because you are like underneath like sheets or whatever it is, you know, like you're just like you just see, all you see is his eyes, and I'm like, dude, it's not even that scary of a scene. But
Get one of these going on. Yeah, no, I don't know. I've just always enjoyed a good scare. I think it's been interesting to see how horror films have adapted to become more relevant, and not just sort of the same thing, sticking to your classic monsters, trying to mix in social media or something like that as a part where, you know, maybe there's something weird going on with technology or supernatural, and there's a sort of like a ghost in the machine kind of thing. There's always a new interesting twist. And then recently we've had horror films as a means of social commentary, and it's just been really interesting to sort of see how the genre changes. Don't get me wrong, the classics are still the classics, and they're still revered, and you know, there's another Halloween movie coming out for a reason. Like people want to come back for the classics. And then, you know, with what we've all been doing with designing home theater systems and sound and whatnot, it's horror films just have awesome soundtracks. Whether it's the music or the cues to, sometimes they'll let you know something's going on. It's kind of unsettling when you have a horror film that's generally silent, and then the music starts to kick in as things start getting weirder, and you're like, shit is going down. In. And it ultimately probably scares the shit in me at least one point, but I just think they're fun. And you know what? There have been some great ones to come out. People stopped going to the movies, and as Ralph alluded to, horror films are super cheap to make, and they made some great ones over the pandemic and stuff. So I just love them. So
yeah, no, it's an interesting genre. Like I said, I don't get into it that much. If I ever pull up, you know, like the top 10 horror films out there, there's a good chance I watch probably around maybe 60% of those. And it's because, of course, they were great back then, and they actually still stand up, you know, the test of time in some of them. I like also the social commentaries on a lot of them, and even of the old B movies. I mean, there were things and, you know, themes of those B movies that resonated at the time with the audiences back then. But I always think that horror films also, you know, always have some kind of message in there that if you look deep enough, and as a matter of fact, some of these horror films have actually been the subject of college studies and things like that, because of how deep that message is, and, you know, and how well it's done. Me personally, I always like the artistry of it. These guys that do the visual effects, the makeup effects, those guys are just phenomenal. As time has gone by, and as time, especially with technology, the way it changes, so from black and white movies and black and white TV to color TV to high definition, now we're at 4K with HDR. These artists have had to really refine their skills in order for you not to see the mistakes that could be done on a practical effect, or or like a makeup effect. And these guys have gotten phenomenal. One of them, of course, one of my my all-time favorites is Rick Baker, who is just an insanely amazing makeup artist, and probably considered probably one of the best out there. And when you look at his stuff is dead on. I mean, you just can't see where like the seams are. You can't see where things start, and he's just phenomenal. And there's just a lot of great makeup artists that are out there, and visual effects artists to in that sense, to make a great horror film. So that being said, we are going to start our draft. And like I said, our draft is 5 categories: scary movie, fun movie, classic movie, vampire movie, and of course a slasher movie. And so I already did the random. Zach is over here with his hand puppet on the on Zoom, but so Ralph is going to be actually our first pick. And so Ralph, do me a favor. What I wanted to see from you guys is not only picking the movie, but why you picked that movie. What was it about the movie that you found entertaining? What is it about the movie that, either scared you, made it fun, or whatever, the category is. And we go from there. So yeah, Ralph, go ahead. Do your pick.
Right. I'm gonna go in order just to keep this simple, and because my old brain can't handle remembering stuff. So we're gonna start with the titled "Scared the Absolute Bejesus Out of You" category. And I'm gonna drop, like, this is probably unexpected, but I'm gonna go with the Blair Witch.
The Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good one.
I'm gonna be 42 next month, and I still can't walk into the woods by myself anymore. Like, they did such a good job with making it. Obviously, that movie was made for pennies on the dollar. It was the first movie to use the internet to really get itself some steam. And I was part of that first wave where it's like, oh, you go to the BlairWitch.org or whatever it was, and it would give little tidbits what the movie's about. And I went and saw the movie opening night. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I went with some buddies from work. I was doing landscaping at the time, so I was like working with like backhoes and shit. And like the 3 or 4 of us went with our girlfriends. And I remember we live up in the sticks compared to everywhere else around here, right? And we saw that movie over in New York, and we stopped after the movie to grab something to drink, and then we're having a smoke outside. And I just looked at the tree line, man, and I'm like, I'm never going into the woods again. Like, that movie just like they did such a good job of like just getting into your whole psychosis of like you shouldn't be okay with going into the woods, and how it panned out. And like, honestly, like they did a great concept with the less is more, because they didn't show shit. They just played every angle just right. The actors and actresses in that movie did a great job. It's just one of those movies that sticks with you. Like, I had another one picked as a subcategory, as a backup plan in case somebody went before me. But yeah, I would take the Blair Witch over the other one I picked.
Right. Yeah, no, the Blair Witch is actually, I think it started the found footage genre out there.
Oh yeah.
It was made for like $200,000. At least that was the budget. But it made $248.6 million when it first came out. So it was released in Sundance first, and then limited release. But then it got, word of mouth actually put it up on the map. So yeah, no, I saw it, and the only thing that I would say that creeped me out was the very end. By the way, to the audience out there, there's probably going to be spoilers. So, just in case.
While we're on that, and about going into the woods thing, because I still hunted at that point in time. I have never seen this movie, so to this day, I haven't seen this movie.
You haven't seen this? Oh yeah, you probably should, because I guarantee you that those nights that you go out there, to build a fire, you won't do it again.
Playing, they just came out with the video game like a year ago, and even playing the game, they do a real good job with the audio. That it just creeps you out, and you're like, you don't want to play it. You're like, all right, I'm good. I'm over this. Again, less is more, and like the sound design was just incredible. Like they just hit all the right notes.
So I guess I'm next. So my pick, you know what? I'm gonna stick with also scary. You know, that scared the bejesus out of me. There's probably maybe in this, you know, in horror, I would say there's maybe like 4 films that really did that to me. But I'm gonna pick The Exorcist. So The Exorcist is a groundbreaking movie that honestly in the beginning did not was not received very well, but later on became a great cult classic. It gave what's the actress name, Linda Blair. I mean, they put her on the map, and of course, you know, she became a child star, and then later, of course, did drugs and everything, just like a child star does, and went into rehab. But but yeah, it was just scary. It was absolutely scary. And the reason I also picked that is because I had a moment one time. I was with my then girlfriend. We were watching it, and the lights were out, and she tends to talk in her sleep. And she always told me about this, but I never saw it. And then we're watching this movie, and you know, of course, it's spooky. And then all of a sudden, I look over at her, and she's staring at the screen, but she's mouthing the words, and nothing is coming out. So she looks like she's in a trance. And my ass was like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" And so I yell her name out. And she looks at me and she's like, "Why did you wake me up?" And I'm like, "Wake you up? You were staring at the screen at a fucking, you know, little girl that's possessed by the devil. And now you're mouthing words." You know, so that's my experience to that. But yeah, no, I mean, great movie. Still holds up to this day. And if you ever look at top 10 films out there, it's always ranked, I would say, between 5 and 1. On that one. So
yeah.
So
was that on the verge of X rating? I forgot. I think
at first it was, yeah.
Probably because she says "fuck me, father, fuck me, father."
Well, they actually had edited it like crazy. I remember that. That was the whole talk of the town when I came.
There are some scenes. I mean, I know that they did they did some kind of director's cut, or I think, or something like that. And there's a scene of her coming down the steps. So I guess they got a contortionist to walk down the steps, but like on all fours backwards.
Yep.
You know, and it was the scariest looking thing, because it was like, what the hell? But they took that out of the theatrical release and they put it on the video release.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, no, really, that's the movie that scared the shit out of me. Even to this day, if I watch it, I'm just like Joe. I get underneath the covers and all you see is my eyes, and I'm like, and then of course after 10 or 15 minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch something else.
Need a palate cleanser after that one.
Exactly. So, all right. So Joe is next.
Scared the absolute Jesus out of me. Rob has alluded to that's just difficult. I tend to have my moments with every movie. So I'm actually going to go with fun, scary movie first.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
God damn it, Joe.
Dude, I love that movie. I have seen it
too.
At least 4 or 5 times.
Fucking stole my shit.
And it's just country bumpkins being stereotyped in the wrong way as being weird. Got these college kids coming in. Girls are hot, like all the horror films. And it's just a funny story of guys trying to do the right thing with all these weird happenstance things happening and people just getting impaled on stuff while thinking that they're out.
And then the cliches too that are in there based upon them being Hicks.
Yeah,
I laughed until I nearly pissed myself, pretty much throughout the entire film.
It was such a refreshing horror film, because it definitely has moments that are jarring. I mean, like when it gets gory, it's really gory, but it's just funny.
So the name of it, what's that? The name is Tucker Vale.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, okay.
And that has Alan Tudyk. Is that how you say it? Tudyk.
Yep.
Dude, he's
hilarious.
He's always great. And whenever he's in a comedic role, it's just a solid movie. I'm glad everyone on here has seen it.
No, I never seen it.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
It's
hilarious.
You gotta
Rob,
watch
oh my God.
that. It is
terrible, Rob.
So good. It's so good. So I'm sorry, Zach. I had a feeling that it was going to be on someone's list. It wasn't necessarily
everybody's
going to
have somebody that's going to have something, you know.
But yeah, that's my fun scary movie for sure.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually catch that. All right, so the next person on the list is Mark.
All right, well, I'll keep it in a little bit more in continuity for the scared the bejesus out of you films. Showgirls. No. I have to go with Poltergeist. Honestly.
Okay.
That one scared the bejesus out of you?
As a little kid, when it came out in the theaters, it scared the living crap. And the face peeling in the mirror still is remnant in my. I can't really watch it still to this day, even though it's the stupidest puppet looking thing. And then you get the clown. That clown. Nobody likes clowns.
I find
that's
funny.
the one that really scared the bejesus. It doesn't still scare the bejesus out of me. I've gotten used to it, but that's the one that really got me as a kid.
Yeah, no, great movie written by Steven Spielberg. As a matter of fact, we kind of went over that on the last podcast, but yeah, written by Steven Spielberg. And there's a lot of things in it that are part of his childhood, but that, being said, I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun. And I like the whole theme on the fact that, the place is haunted because of it was built above a Indian burial ground. And I think, aren't there other movies that, because then after that, I think that franchise just took a dive.
They did 3 sequels. Yeah.
Right. And so they came up in the other sequels. I think they came up with the fact that the Indian burial ground was on top of something else.
Yeah.
So it was just like all of a sudden they were like, oh, let's not, let's do something different, So, oh, very cool, man. I like that movie. Anybody else has anything to say about it?
I think I spoke about it during one of our episodes where, like, the part where he throws up the demon made me immediately run to the bathroom and throw up as a kid. Like, I couldn't take it. It was terrifying. And I remember they would go into the room and it would be just about I'd leave the room for like 10 minutes. I couldn't watch it.
I like the gradual change in that film to where like they're excited. They're like, oh, with the chairs, right, where it's moving back and forth.
Right, the chairs all of a sudden like move, or if not, they just get stacked automatically, and it was like, ooh. But then,
and then sort of as things intensify and the tone of the film changes, I sort of I liked what they did with that.
And to add on to, I know Rob had mentioned earlier that I go to Horror Nights. They did a house for Poltergeist a couple of years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was pretty awesome because you walked into the house like through the burial ground.
Oh, nice.
And then it took you into the house, and then obviously it had the little girl looking at the TV going, they're here, and that was like, oh my God, like it just triggered memories. And it's like, and I'll probably bring up some more Halloween Horror Nights moments throughout this, but that was a pretty cool one.
Yeah, and speaking of they're here, that became a catchphrase And a very famous quote. I mean, if you look up quotes for like, movies and stuff like that, the here was actually, is one of those quotes that has made it, up there and was overused at one point.
Overly quoted movies that are out
Correct.
there.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
So the next one is my man Zach over here, and he, because he's last and this is a draft, he gets to pick twice.
Aww.
So
Alrighty. All right. So, as some of you know, I am a child. I'm gonna go with Scary as Shit, which is my adaptation of Scared the Bejesus Out of Me.
Okay.
Title first. For one of the only movies that's ever really done this to me, and it's the 2007 movie I Am Legend.
Ooh.
And I must have been 12 or something like that. And the creatures in I Am Legend scared the shit out of me. And I was like a 12-year-old, and I for some reason they clicked with me, and I just couldn't handle it.
Right.
I've actually never finished that movie.
I
will now that I remember that, right? No, I'll get over it. But at the time I was like, absolutely not. And so that I also thought about it because for a while there we were looking at I Am Legend gas prices. There's a scene in the movie that's got like $6.83 for regular, and major metropolitan places out west. I mean, that was the reality almost. So I thought that I'd share that one because that one legitimately got me good when I was a kid.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, I Am Legend is I don't think it's ever considered a horror film, is it?
It's considered like a
it's a zombie movie, right?
Nope, it's a vampire film technically. But it's based off of Matheson's book, which is I Am Legend, but The Last Man on Earth and Omega Man were the earlier versions of that.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking? You said I Am Legend. I'm thinking of Legend.
Oh no, not Tom Cruise.
Oh god.
Yeah,
I was like, really, Legend?
Reasons.
Yeah, no, I understand. I Am Legend. Yeah, now I get it.
Yeah.
Did you? So you say you never saw the ending of I Am Legend?
I know of the ending. Like I checked in for various parts.
Which version? There's two versions.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that
2007 version, whatever that is.
Yeah, so
the Will Smith.
There's two endings to it. The one that came out in the theater, and then there's the one that was put in the on the Blu-ray or the DVD, which is the alternate ending. And some people like the alternate ending better than the original, but yeah, you need to definitely watch that.
Yeah, you should read the books, Zach. It's very different, but
yeah, Matheson's book version is definitely different. But each film, Last Man on Earth, Omega Man, and I Am Legend, all have a lot of key stuff in between it that share. But yeah, it's more of like a vampire movie, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And so, my second pick,
His second pick,
the first last, is something that I have a personal connection to.
Oh, okay.
It is the movie Blood Rage, and I'm choosing this in the slasher category.
Okay.
Directed by John Grismer.
Jesus Christ.
Get out.
Yep. It is a campy slasher movie about a
What's
boy.
the name of this movie?
Yep, it's Blood Rage.
Blood Rage. Never heard of it.
Yep, I have it on Blu-ray. Come on down.
I think I have that too, and I didn't realize he did that.
Yeah. John Grismer did that movie. He directed it.
How did you not know, Mark? How did you even know about that movie without?
Am I assuming this? Am I
Oh,
assuming this
definitely
is
a client. Yeah.
A client.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
100%.
Yep. Yep.
That's
So-
crazy.
Me
Yeah.
and Zach went out and bought the movie as soon as we found out about it.
I saw the movie before we even went to
I
his
got
place.
gifted a copy at the completion visit. So
Oh god.
Oh wow.
yeah, Yeah.
Well, at least you got that. I got the writer to Soul Plane one time, and if he would have given me the movie, I would have been like, no thanks, you could just keep that.
Yeah. No, I thought it was cool. It's a really campy slasher, which is like the way I think they're really supposed to be in a lot of ways. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was kind of fun.
Okay.
It feels older than 87.
Right.
It's got that style to it. So
how would you rank that? In other words, like, is it a great slasher movie, or is it one of those things that's like, listen, I'm just gonna drink as much as I can, watch this movie, and just laugh?
Somewhere healthily in the middle. It's
it's a guilty pleasure.
Drinking encouraged, I think. It's it's fun. I do really like the style. I mean, John himself was like, yeah, if you like really campy horror, like, check this out. So,
right.
Neat.
Okay. All right, so the next one is Mark. So you have either
I already went.
Remember, it goes up and down.
Oh, okay. I go next. Okay.
Yeah, so you go next. So you still got fun, classic, vampire, or slasher.
Okay. Well, let's go with fun.
Okay.
Scary film. Now, I'm showing my age, but somebody here might know it. Sorority Babes in a Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama.
Jesus Christ.
Are you sure that's not a porno?
You would think.
I'm not convinced. You're gonna have to prove it to me.
It stars Linnea Quigley, a scream queen, and it's about somebody, a bunch of kids, and they break into the bowling alley late at night in the mall when it was linked to the mall, and they open up. This genie comes out and just starts causing chaos. Turns two of the girls into zombies. A couple of other people into psychopaths going around killing people. A lot of nudity, a lot of sex, and a lot of blood. And a horny hip hop style genie in the movie. So there's a little bit of humor in there too. So that's the funny part about it, because it's kind of campy. You gotta watch.
So what is it called? Sorority
Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama.
All right. Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball?
Yep, Bowl-O-Rama.
All right. Never heard of it, but okay. All right. So the next one on this one is going to be Joe.
Oh boy.
So Joe, you have scary, classic, vampire, or slasher.
Time out, Rob. By the way, it's ordered on Blu-ray. It's on its way to your house.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just kidding. They do have it. They do have it on Amazon though.
I was gonna say, well, thanks. I'm gonna pop that in, and
you can watch it free with ads.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna get some cannabis and all kinds of drugs and watch it. So Joe, you were next.
All right. So movie that scared the bejesus out of me. I'm not sure if any of you
by the way, hold
seen
on,
it.
Joe. Hey, Mark, who was any famous person starring that sorority based movie?
Not that I'm aware of. Only the Scream Queen, Linnea Quigley.
Okay. I had to ask because I was like, all right, go ahead, Joe.
I'm struggling because I have it between two movies.
For which category?
Scared the absolute bejesus out of me.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm gonna go with it because I'm not sure if any of you have actually seen it. It's on Netflix, and it's a newer movie. Came out in 2020, and it's called His House.
His House.
Yeah, has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. and it 100% scared the shit out of me. So it's about a family, Sudan refugees who are fleeing the country, and they make their way to Britain. They have a harrowing journey, and they lose their daughter along the way, and they get put in rundown homes, and the walls are peeling and everything like that, and they endure a bunch of racism and stuff while they're there. But there's a bit of that culture's sort of myth and legend wrapped into some of the horrors that they start experiencing in the house. And wherever the wallpaper's ripped, they start seeing faces in the wallpaper, and other refugees that may have stayed in that house. It's pretty crazy. There are a couple times where it absolutely scares the shit out of me. It's very good. It's different. And the other movie that I was between this one or Us, to be honest. And I chose this one.
This one. Okay. Cool.
Also love Us, though. It's a fucking great movie.
Us is great. Yeah. All right. So the next one is going to be, me. And I am going to choose. I'm going to go on fun. And I like this. It's not a horror film. It's more of a Halloween film, I think. But I would say this much. It made a lot of money, had a catchy tune that came out in the radios for a long time. And of course, this group of guys became pretty famous. I mean, they were already famous to begin with, but I mean, it definitely put them on the map out there. And that is Ghostbusters.
Oh,
so mine is Ghostbusters, fun movie. Pretty much Bill Murray at his best. Dan Aykroyd at his best. Some of the best movie quotes that came out of there. It's a movie that I could watch over and over and over again because it's so much fun.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought that movie starred Chris Hemsworth.
Oh boy. Podcast over.
Yeah.
Slam laptop done. We're over. Sorry, Germany.
Yeah, that was an interesting remake there, and that was
don't recognize it. Just keep talking about the
other remake. It's a reimagining.
A reimagining of that movie, but
I can imagine quite a bit.
Yeah, I would say the third movie, not the second, because the second was with
Vigo, the Carpathian.
Yes, exactly. And they're the walking Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. Not the best sequel, but the third one was actually really nice. I thought that
Ghostbusters Afterlife,
that was a great tribute to what's the director's name?
Ramis.
Right, exactly. So, and again, a good use of CGI to bring them back to the screen, but great movie overall. And like I said, a lot of great quotes coming out of there. Sigourney Weaver was also in it, which she did a really good job on that. But just overall great, and it made the Firehouse very famous. I mean, it is a area where you see a lot of Ghostbuster fans visit in New York when they
dress it up every Halloween.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's about my pick for fun is Ghostbusters. All right, Ralph, you are the next one.
All right. Where is the magic dice gonna land? How did I lose my Zoom? Get over here.
By the way, if you want to chime in on one of the movies that somebody mentioned, go right ahead.
I'll chime in on Zach not mentioning that Ghostbusters movie ever again. I actually sadly I own that movie and I've never finished watching it. Like that's right next to Solo on my shelf of movies that took me 14 watches to get through it once.
Oh, the remake of Ghostbusters?
Yeah, the girl.
The all girl one.
Yeah. That was I got that for free through Vudu. I don't know what I did. I think I signed up and they give you like 5
Good
free
price
movies.
for it.
They give you like 5 free movies for signing up, and that was one of them.
Yeah, I don't think I was that lucky. I think I actually paid for it.
No.
Man, fun scary movies hard. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Anything with a cabin in it has been fantastic.
Well, a Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I mean that's in my top 3, man.
Or Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, oh man, yeah, cabins are great. I'm gonna go with Cabin Fever though.
Just because which version is this too? They remade the original.
No, the original.
Okay.
So it hit the right audience. There's a lot of just like weird shit that happens in it, and like it was the purpose of the director to throw stuff in there just because. So that's yeah. To this day, the secret is still locked up as to why that kid did that. But they put it in the movie. But yeah, and I just love obviously there's scenes that stick with you. Again, spoilers. One, the guy is getting the second base with his girlfriend and pulls his hand out. And I
just watched that like 4 days ago.
Incredible, man.
You putting this under fun?
Yeah, fun. I was between that and Cabin in the Woods. I love Cabin in the Woods. But I think Cabin Fever is just more of a fun, like something you can watch over and over again with different people and see their reactions to some of the shit that happens in that movie.
Right. Yeah, and that was Eli Roth's first film, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I actually was in school and he wasn't there, but the producers came and we didn't do a screening that year of this movie, but they showed us the teaser for it.
And so it's pretty Cheryl neat. Ladd's daughter is in there.
Yeah.
And cool. The kid from Boy Meets World.
Yep. Yeah, the older brother. Or not the best friend.
The friend.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, sir, and you have another pick since you were.
Let's do it. I'm gonna go to vampire movies because that one, if someone took this one from me, it would be tough for me to pick one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Lost Boys.
Oh,
cool.
Nice. And funny enough, Lost Boys can actually also fall under fun too, because that is a fun movie.
It's a great movie. I mean, you gotta. I'm taking it at yeah, and honestly, it kind of the time it came out when I watched it was kind of scary because I was like probably 8 or 9 years old when this movie came out, and like I watched it probably a couple of times the first time it came out. So I still till this day will never forget with the Chinese food when he's sitting there eating and all of a sudden it turns to maggots. So you always look down at what you eat. You got to make sure of that.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool trivia. We already mentioned 2 movies that are connected by father and son right now. Exorcist has Jason Miller in it, who plays father, the younger father.
Right.
And guess who his son is? Jason Patrick in The Lost Boys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, just a little trivia right there. So we picked 2 movies with father knowledge. And son.
Nice. Yeah, Lost Boys was not only fun, but you had Kiefer Sutherland, who was very young at the time. And then, of course, you had these 2 kids, Corey Haim and who's
Corey
the other
Feldman.
one? Corey Feldman.
My man.
Who I think actually were probably the heart of that film.
Yeah.
They were the heart of that decade, dude.
Yeah. It was just a funny film, but great soundtrack too.
Oh yeah.
Even to this day, I sometimes pop it in because I was like, that was a cool lady soundtrack, so I liked it. All righty. So my next movie, I'm gonna pick Vampire. And I'm gonna pick one that not many people have seen, but it has some really good actors in it. So it had Bill Paxton. It had
You're picking Near Dark.
yes, absolutely.
That's pretty good.
Near Dark was just such a great movie.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to find nowadays, but
I have it somewhere, but yeah, Bill Paxton was perfect in it. And and you also had
Lance
Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen and the chick who came out in Aliens. What's her name?
I think her name is Janine.
Janine. She played Vasquez.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So phenomenal movie. I mean, it was kind of one of those hidden gems when I first saw it. I was like, holy crap! And then it also really awesome soundtrack by I think Tangerine Dreams.
Yep.
Yeah. So great movie on that. I like that movie a lot.
Same here. Rob, this movie came out obviously when you and I were in high school, so we do have an affinity for it. But
yeah,
I love that since I saw it. I remember seeing that in the 80s.
Yeah,
late 80s.
Yeah,
it's a re-release somewhere.
Yeah, it's a movie that doesn't get that much love that much. I mean,
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't, but I still think it's great. So, all right. So the next person on this line is Giuseppe.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with vampire movie. And I was between two movies again, and this will probably stink because I'm not sure if any of you have seen it.
But we could always do honorable mentions at the very end.
Yeah,
True.
We'll do an honorable mention on because there's still a lot of great movies that.
Yeah, I mean there are tons that we're not getting to, but there. Have any of you seen Let the Right One In?
Yes.
Yes.
But did you see the original? I think
that's
the
the one I'm
French,
talking about.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking Let Me In, the
right.
American version. I'm talking Let the Right One In.
Right.
The foreign film. Just an interesting take on the vampire genre. These two boys that develop a friendship based on the normal boy being bullied. And then I don't really want to ruin anything about it, but it's a really heartfelt film.
Oh, you could ruin it. I mean, spoilers. If nobody's seen it,
spoilers.
I mean, it's a really, really heartfelt film, and a regular boy develops a friendship with a vampire named Eli, and they eventually kind of agree to go steady and date, even though Eli admits to not being a girl, but he doesn't care. It's like the main character Oscar's first friend, and Eli protects him, and
right.
Basically Eli ends up protecting him against his bullies. And it was just a new take on a genre that's been around forever. I think maybe 1932 might have been one of the first vampire films, maybe earlier. I'm not.
I mean, there's Vampire, and then there's Nosferatu, but I don't know if those were the first.
I know Vampires, I think, was like the 30s or something like that. So
well, there was a Thomas Edison movie that was done.
What didn't he do?
Nosferatu, I think it's I think it was coined as being one of the first.
Okay, but it's just an interesting take. I'm glad a couple other people have seen it. Mark, what did you think?
The original, I liked it because I saw it before I saw the remake, the American remake.
Yeah, me too.
I appreciated the original. And even though it was, you had subtitles and everything else, I didn't mind it, but the story was there and you knew. So, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the remake, I like the remake because they had Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I saw both, and both of them were pretty good. Zach, I think, needs attention. And you'll get yours, Zach. You'll get your attention soon. So for those of you out there who you're wondering what's going on, so we're on a Zoom call, and Zach likes to
play with his toys.
Plays with his toys.
Zach is showing off how many Halloween decorations he has.
Yeah.
And also proving that he is also the baby of the group.
Yeah, he's
and playing with them.
Zach, you should probably get that 8-foot tall skeleton we saw.
I'll just play with this. How's that?
Perfect.
I was half scared of what Mark was going to break out.
I'll just play with my Lament configuration Rubik's Cube.
Hmm.
All right. So next on here is actually Mark.
All right. Well, I already went through the first two, which was Scared the Bejesus Out of Me, funny, scary films. I might just go with just classic Universal style films. And I have to go with the one that I have always loved, and I'm a huge fan, all because of suit acting, and I just love suit actors. The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, I was going to pick that one.
And I have to go with it because I got to meet both men who played the creature himself in those particular movies. So Rico Weaving and Ben Chapman. So I got to meet both guys who played the creature itself. Both charming, both very nice.
Right.
And I just love the aspect of, a kind of a swampy kind of sea creature. And there were 3 movies together too. They made a total of 3.
Yeah, and then I know that Guillermo del Toro also did what's it called?
The Something of Water. The Sound of Water.
Something of Water. Water.
Jesus Christ, you guys are so off. I can't think of it though either.
Yep.
But wait,
The Shape of Water.
The Shape of
Water. So
There you
yeah,
go.
he did The Shape of Water, and that rumor was that The Shape of Water was supposed to be either a sequel to Creature of the Black Lagoon or something like that. But he never made it clear that it was or it wasn't. But the creature itself was definitely based off of the original.
Yeah, and it was done very well too. I thought The Shape of Water holds up. It was up for Academy Awards.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it had its weird moments where you're like, oh, okay, that happened.
Let's flood a hole in an apartment and just swim inside of it.
Swim inside and have sex with with the creature.
Oh yeah.
So...
But I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed the original. I have a 3D Blu-ray, which God knows if I could ever find a 3D TV to actually play it on. But I also have the regular DVD and regular 3D because they used to do that back then. So I have the glasses that could work with that with the red and blue, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
To do that. And then I have regularly on Blu-ray too. So I'm a huge fan of it. I like I said, I got to meet I think it was Rico Browning. That's it. Rico Browning and Ben Chapman.
Okay.
Ben is no longer with us, but Rico is still available for conventions. If you go to horror sci-fi conventions, he's up there in his age, but he's still doing them. So you're out there and you love that kind of thing, you could actually meet one of the original Universal monsters.
Yeah. Movie came out in 1954, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, no, great movie, great concept. And I will have to say, out of all the classic movies, because you always had your classic, Universal monsters, of course, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, the Invisible Man. But I always thought the Creature from the Black Lagoon had the coolest look out of all of them.
Same here.
So, yeah. Cool. All right, Zach. I know that you've been wanting some attention over there. And you're about to get it, so you get to pick 2.
All right. Are you ready for this?
All right, so you have fun, classic, and vampire left.
And how to pick. I have one that's going to check a lot of boxes for a lot of people. I'm going to give you a little synopsis. So,
okay,
you guys have heard of Dracula, right?
Yep.
Well, in this
sounds familiar.
particular film, Dracula is actually a businessman. He owns a resort, hotel, and entertainment destination for monsters. In fact, it's called the Hotel Transylvania, where Selena Gomez, his daughter, Mavis Dracula, falls in love with a human boy.
Ralph's out.
And I just wanted to mention that because it doesn't have just one Dracula. It's got two. It's got a Mavis Dracula and a Mr. Businessman Dracula. So that's my vampire selection. Case closed.
Okay.
Do the eye thing. Do the eye thing.
And that one's under what? Fun or vampire?
Oh, it's going under vampire.
It's going under vampire. Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Holy
I've
shit.
got more fun ones. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
All right.
And you got another one coming up too, don't you? Zach?
Yeah.
I've got another one, right?
Yeah, he has
Please,
a
please,
classic
please.
movie or a fun movie.
Let's just take it away from him. Let's just take it.
So
away.
it's classic / B movie, right? So like
Correct.
just, like cult
Correct.
movies and like weird like
The classic and B movies, we're talking about stuff that was done probably in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
no worries.
Basically, the black and white stuff.
Because here's what I'm picking. I'm picking a fun movie. And what better movie to represent this category than a Christmas movie?
Okay.
Who here has seen the movie Red Christmas?
Red
Christmas?
Red Christmas, featuring a cloaked Cletus the fetus, an aborted baby who comes back and greets his forgotten family on Christmas Eve, wrapped in bandages because he's disfigured. He comes home only to have his family reject him, and he murders everybody.
Yeah, it's a different version of Basket Case, but with Christmas themes in it.
Oh my God. Red Christmas.
Red Christmas. It's worth a watch. I'll watch it with anybody here. You let me know. It is special. Cletus the fetus, everybody, just steals the show.
Yes, he does.
Since you have a nice little theater room there, we're probably all going to have to come to your house and watch that.
Sure, come on down. We're going to watch Cletus the fetus. Cletus the Cletus. Red Christmas.
I have never heard of it, and as I try to look for images of that, all I keep getting is red stockings.
Well, I highly recommend to keep the other slasher or horror Christmas stuff for the Christmas episode too.
Oh yeah, they'll probably be one there too. So
I'm saving it up. I could never forget Red
That
Christmas.
includes A Nightmare Before Christmas too, by the way.
Which is in the running for one of my fun ones.
I see Cletus now, and yeah, that's scary. That's a scary looking thing.
And he talks like he's, he works for, never mind. Can't say that.
Oh my Lanta.
Oh my God.
Let's just say he might one day mount a TV in someone's house.
Oh my
Oh boy.
Oh my God. I can never see this movie now. Oh man. Oh Jesus. Mark, you're next.
Mark, you're next.
That's terrifying.
That's
horrible.
All right.
Okay. So Mark,
Okay,
you have
all right.
vampire or slasher?
I'm gonna go with vampire.
Okay.
Okay, vampire. I'm gonna go with Fright Night.
Oh,
the original.
Okay.
Not the was it
Not the remake.
Not
the
the remake.
original.
Right.
with Roddy McDowell.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought there was one before that.
Oh no, the original Fright Night is the one. You got Stephen Jeffries who plays Ed or Evil.
Right.
Amanda Bierce from Married with Children, Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, and Jonathan Stark as Billy Cole, who plays the familiar. So to me, I always loved this as a kid when it came out back in. Well, I was 13 when it came out, but I got to see it on VHS in 1986 when it came out in that year.
Right.
But I've loved it since. It's a classic to me. It's something that I grew up on, and I just love it.
No, it's a great movie. I remember seeing the first time I saw it. The special effects were awesome. I like that big grin vampire.
Yeah.
It always, it also shows up on the poster, I believe. So.
Yep.
Yeah, fun movie. Yeah, I like that movie. So, yeah, guys, we have actually covered all of our scary, fun, and vampire movies. So what we got left are classic and slasher movies. So the next person on the line is Joe. Joe, you either have classic or slasher.
So you're forcing me to pick classic rather than a B movie?
Classic or B movie, one of those.
Jesus.
But Jesus.
Okay. No, because I honestly haven't watched any of the classics.
Really? You never saw a Universal film?
You have. You just haven't.
No, I haven't.
You don't realize it.
So you have never seen none of those classic. Man, I got that shit on iTunes.
Haven't watched one.
Dude, you had to watch Channel 11 throughout like the whole fall season played like The Mummy, Dracula, or whatever. Back.
My dad spends all of his time from fall to winter in the woods hunting. We are not allowed to watch horror movies from September through like January. Can't watch them. Not allowed to watch them.
Yeah, because
so literally we didn't watch them
because for the animals out there, you guys were the horror film.
Whatever, man. They fucking taste good. So
yeah, it does taste good.
Okay, well, yes, a B movie, so it has to be,
or it could just be something that wasn't a wide release. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I already mentioned a couple of ones that have been really bad.
The era is like 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Oh, well, that'll be bad because I've never seen a B movie from then.
Never saw The Blob?
Nope.
You know. Wow.
You're not allowed to go to Blobathon then.
Wait,
so
there's a Blobathon?
Yeah. At the anniversary of the film release of Blob, they have what's called a Blobathon. And it's the town in Pennsylvania. They literally get together and everything is themed The Blob. At the very end of the night, they do all the running out of the movie theater like in the movie The Blob, and they take a huge picture of everybody that attends.
That's pretty cool.
And
you know what? I'll go with a slasher.
All right.
And I'm gonna tie in a little story. So
there we go.
I am the younger brother, and as much as my brother would like to admit, he conveniently forgets all the terrible things that he's done. So I think one of the funniest things my brother ever did was he had a Freddy Krueger costume.
Oh my God.
He also had a glow-in-the-dark mouth guard. And so one day,
that's fucking great.
Because apparently I used to sleep very soundly somehow. He managed to just make it into my room. And very slowly, he came out from underneath my bed with the Freddy Krueger glove on, wrapped it around the edge with the hat, with the shirt, with everything. And then he opened his mouth so the inside of his mouth would glow with the glow-in-the-dark mouth guard. And he scared the fucking shit out of me.
Oh, wow.
He conveniently has forgotten that. I have not. It's seared in my brain because he's a douchebag. So as much as I would like to say that I should have been scared by Friday when I was, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old watching it. My brother's like, "Oh, it's just a normal movie," and I'm like, "Really? Oh wait, that guy just got impaled, and there's this freaky thing coming out of a lake at the end." Nope, that didn't do it. It was Mr. Freddy Krueger. He takes it.
So so I assume that you're doing Nightmare on Elm Street for your
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, Nightmare on Elm Street became one of those movies that kind of revitalized a little bit of the slasher movie. Horror films have had their ups and downs throughout, the decades and stuff like that. And there are years where horror films are, almost non-existent, and if they are, nothing good comes out of it. And then there's always that one film that kind of elevates it. And so Nightmare on Elm Street was one of those movies that, became super popular and definitely made Freddy Krueger one of like the classic monsters out there, or characters out there. So very cool. All right. And to your brother, touche.
He had some good ones, man. He stole my Easter candy and put raisinets and yellow food coloring on a plate and said I was a bad boy, and the Easter bunny only left me a plate of poop.
So this podcast now is turning into like some kind of psychiatric
Joe's therapy session.
Listen, I love my brother very much.
Sorry. Joe,
he had some good ones as an older brother.
Joe, I know you're a hairy guy like me, but stroke the furry wall. It's okay.
It's not there. I took care of
it. Jesus. Okay. So I will be next on this one, and I'm gonna stick with slasher. And on slasher, I'm gonna of course go with the all-time classic of Halloween. So yeah, Halloween actually scared the bejesus out of many people. Made Jamie Lee Curtis a household name, scream queen. And even till this day, the new movies that came out have actually, at least the first one.
The first one was the new one. Danny McBride actually was part of that in writing and the directing and producing. Right. And the first one was really good. The second one, The new one, still, we got to go see it. I try to talk to Chris Nelson, who does the effects on it too. I know him, and he asked me what my thought was about the second one. And the second one came out, and I said, well, the effects were good. He goes, oh, thank you for saying the effects are good. Because a lot of people, just like me, were like, well, there was something lacking with the story. So I'm thinking with this one, I think the third one will be really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so one of the reasons I like this movie is because John Carpenter, right, he was the original
writer, creator, and director,
right? But he also came up with a classic score to that, which till this day is one of the all-time best scores when it comes to horror films and things like that. Very recognizable, and he was the actual composer to it. Yeah, so very, very awesome soundtrack to that.
Well, Carpenter was always like that for every movie he had done, whether it be Halloween, Escape from New York, The Thing.
Right.
There's so many things, but that he gets involved with the writing, directing, producing of it. So, of course, it's going to be a legendary kind of movie. Even the movie Vampires, if you remember that movie.
Yeah. But I saw that not so long ago. Didn't like, wasn't memorable for me, but like I said, the original Halloween, phenomenal. The rest of the movies that came out after that, but the original is always still phenomenal on that. So
it's legendary. Everybody remembers it.
Yeah. All right. So Ralph, you are next. You get to pick your last two. So you got classic and you got slasher.
Well, we're gonna have a segue first. Because I like how Joe's stories go, so I'm gonna add one to the mix. So honorable mention. well, you know what? I might I'm gonna channel this one into my slasher movie. Originally, I had Friday the 13th just because I loved all the different ways Jason could kill people in a sleeping bag.
Kane Hodder is amazing.
But I'm gonna change it to Candyman just so I could add this story. So
Great
the original
movie.
Candyman. What year did that come out? 92.
91, I think.
So I lived. We just were a couple years removed from living in the city. So me and my brother were home alone, and like we must have just watched it recently, and my brother goes to me, "Bet you can't say Candyman in the mirror." What? It's 3 times, right, or 5 times? 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. And I go, "Yeah, I can." I was like probably 11 or 12 at the time, trying to be tough shit. My brother had a plan. So I went on, I stood on my couch and I looked in the mirror and I was saying Candyman. My brother ducked down so I couldn't see him. And as I said it the 3rd time, he grabbed my back. And I legit, my soul left my body. It was so bad. I was so pissed at him for the longest time. But I respect it. I said till this day, I'll never forget that. Because like, he got it, and my brother's I'm only 5'6". My brother is almost 6 feet tall, so like not a small dude. Like you can't like easily duck out of the way, and like he got down and just got low enough so I couldn't see him in the mirror and just grabbed my back, and I lost my mind, man. But I love this story with Candyman. I do appreciate some of the sequels. The remake was okay. I thought they brought too much politics into it, but it's a good story. It's a good story. It has great visual elements. Obviously, the line from groin to gullet is always stuck with me when he gets that meat hook out. And me and Mark had the privilege of meeting Tony Todd. Jesus, Mark, what was that, like 10 years ago almost?
About 10 years ago. Yeah, he was a bit drunk.
Yeah, he was wasted. And it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty fantastic. But yeah, he was pretty cool, dude. And I told him straight to his face, I'm like not for nothing, like I'm scared standing next to you right now. You're Candyman. And he was a real cool guy. But yeah, I would put Candyman in there for the slasher movie. All right. Friday the 13th was really my original choice, but like the story had to go along.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say like Tony Todd. It's funny. There was somebody at work I used to work with a long time ago. They said that they could not watch it. They watched the movie and it literally scarred them for life. And so even saying the words Candyman 3 times, he will freak out. But if you would show him a picture of Tony Todd, he will literally cry because of how scared he was. The movie scarred him so much that he cannot see a movie with that actor at all.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that bad. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, really? You really let this movie get to you that much? But yeah, so
I let Virginia Madsen get to me though, because she was in that and she was hot.
Okay. All right. Well, Ralph, you got your last one to pick, which is classic. So classic B movie, Universal monsters, or just your 1940s, 50s, or 60s black and white movies.
Well, it's gonna be an easy one. We're gonna parlay into. I was today years old when I found out that E.T. was played by an actor. I never knew that until I was while we were talking, I was looking up because talking about the conventions me and Mark used to go to. I pulled up the Chiller site to see who they had, and I didn't realize E.T. was played by a person.
Yeah, a little person. Yep.
Okay. It was not a little person. He's half a person on a skateboard.
Oh, that's right. He has no legs. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that. But anyway, for our audience, who else?
Oh man, it's a really good thing I was muted.
Why? What did you say?
It's just how aggressively I laughed at it. That's all.
So what's the movie? Because you haven't said the movie yet.
So the movie I picked for I'm gonna I love all the Universal monster movies, so I can't really pick one, but I'm gonna go with B movie, and it's what really it's inspired so many people over 50 years. Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, nice.
Just, I mean, the
Romero.
Savinis
Yeah.
of the world, like everybody was inspired by them.
Yeah, Romero is definitely the one who started that trend.
Yeah, he's the man. Like he really is. He's the godfather of horror. Like there's so much, even till this day, like there's shows like The Walking Dead and stuff use and pay homage to the stuff from that movie, and
Correct.
It's been almost 60 years.
Yeah, no, it's a movie
Wow.
that and funny enough, when it first came out, or it got a lot of criticism because of the way it was shot, and and of course the depiction of the dead and things like that. But it's like you said, every zombie movie out there owes this movie a lot. So you're actually all done, buddy.
Wrapped up. I'm gonna go take
You
a
are
nap
all
now.
wrapped up. So the second one would be me, and that would be my classic movie. Interesting, because I was thinking about classics, and I was gonna pick one that was actually from Alfred Hitchcock, but it's not even in black and white, it's in color. So I decided, no, let me do the actual classic ones. And I went full-blown super classic and did the original Dracula, which is what's it was
Bela Lugosi?
Yeah, Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi, the way he portrayed Dracula basically became the blueprint on how so many people would portray a vampire from that point on.
Okay.
Yeah, his voice, just his look. When you watch it now, it really makes you laugh because of how campy it is. But it is a classic. I mean, it's the ultimate classic. What is it? Universal monster movie out there. It's what started it all. So yeah, so Dracula would be mine. So, and of course, because of that, so many different movies have actually come out of that. So many different vampire movies, so many different Dracula movies, and so many different versions of it. So yeah, that's mine right there.
Awesome.
All right, sir. Joe, you are
God.
next. I know you haven't seen any B movies, so I think
I haven't seen any from those eras, like those years. Like
all right. So what we're gonna do this. We're gonna give you a pass, where you could pick any B movie, since you haven't seen any of the classics.
Joe, have you seen a movie with a person wrapped in toilet paper? Just say The Mummy. Just say The Mummy.
I haven't seen it.
Never
Any
saw Brendan
Mummy movie.
Fraser's The
Just
Mummy.
say The Mummy. We'll take it.
I've seen Brandon Fraser's The Mummy.
There you go. That's a
I mean,
movie.
if you wanna, I was gonna do The Wolf of Snow Hollow, which is one that came out in the last couple of years. I don't know if you guys have.
Well, it's still a B movie, and I still think it ranks within the B movie genre. So
All right, so I will give you that. The Wolf of what?
Snow Hollow.
Okay.
I thought we watched it, but maybe I watched that one.
but is that like a documentary style where they try to track down a werewolf?
No, so that one's actually kind of, it has its funny moments too. But it's basically like a small town sheriff. He's like dealing with his failed marriage, and his daughter's kind of pain in the ass, and there end up being these series of gruesome murders in the town. And I believe his father is also the previous sheriff, and he takes over for his father. And it's actually just a really great werewolf movie. But it came out during the pandemic, so
okay.
Sorry to laugh out loud and cut you off, but I was gonna say it sounds like the story of my life minus instead of a daughter, I have a son, and this winter was gonna start my killing spree.
Okay.
But no, like it's really good. It has a 89% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
If you guys haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. And honestly, in the last, I'd say 5 years, there have been a lot of really good movies that have come out that are
Right.
horror films. So that one I bought on Vudu. I've seen it a couple times. It's just a good one to go back to. But I really like it.
Let me get your Voodoo account, son.
All righty. So that was Joe's
B.
list. And the next one is Mark. Mark, you got slasher left. So who's going to be your little slasher?
All right, so slasher movies. I'm torn. There's so many, but
I'll just say Sleepaway Camp.
It's on the list, but that's not going to be it. I'll have to go with Friday the 13th, the series. Obviously, how could you not go wrong with Jason Voorhees himself? We had a lot of great effects on there in those particular movies. Dick Smith was part of that at one point. Tom Savini for the first movie, fourth, and I think those are the only two movies that he got involved with the makeup effects on it. But then you got Kane Hodder, who actually played Jason Voorhees himself.
Kane.
The longest as far as the series run. C.J. Graham, Steve Dash, who actually have a signed machete by, and Kurzinger and all those guys. Yeah,
you have a lot of signed weaponry from a lot of people.
Yes, I do. But yeah, I have to go with Friday the 13th as
Awesome.
a series as a whole.
And
Nice.
those are the characters, if you will, that are classic for me at my age, right? Like you've got, those are the classic characters I grew up with, and I would argue have become just a part of the canon, right? Like we get recently we've gotten a Halloween movie every year. The number of Friday the 13th movies there have been, and whether good or bad, there are a lot of them. People still go out to see them.
Yeah, they're still
Most
there.
of the time that, other than the classic monsters that you think of Halloween, how likely are you just to see someone wearing like a hockey mask?
Yeah,
right.
I know exactly what it's from.
And like you know what they're from.
Yeah.
And even if it's Freddy Krueger, it might not be the whole getup. Sometimes people will just have maybe the glove on or the hat or the shirt.
The
if they
shirt
don't wanna
is
put
usually
everything-
the
and people
giveaway.
people know. So like those are my classic monsters for
Right.
me. So but yeah.
Well, I mean, there's other right. I mean, I think for people who love the genre, I mean, they like to go back. Just like for people like us who like sci-fi, we like to sometimes watch some of the older sci-fi stuff, and they might be cheesy or something like that, but it's something to sometimes have fun with,
right.
to watch. But yeah, like the older stuff, like like Mark and I was, we're talking about like where you watch some of those old Hollywood monster movies or Universal monster movies. I mean, they're just fun to watch. And the interesting thing with you saying, Mark, the Friday the 13th is that Jason did not become the character that he became until the second one.
No, he didn't.
Right,
No,
the first one.
Yep, it
was
was
the-
Mrs. Voorhees, his mother.
Exactly.
His mom.
It was his mom, and they kind of expanded on that as soon as they did a sequel. The cool thing, though, I have a memory about this because as a Boy Scout, I actually had to go to Boy Scout camp where they filmed the first movie in Camp Nobi Bosco in New Jersey. I was there.
Oh.
With my brother and everybody else. And it was an ongoing thing for every year for every guy to come out with a fake machete and have the hockey mask and scare all the new Boy Scouts that are there in the cabins. So I love going there. But hopefully, I'm hoping by the end of October, if they still have tickets available, Camp Nobi Bosco still does a tour for the Friday the 13th there as well in the town of, I believe it's in Warren, New Jersey. Might be Hardwick. It's Hardwick. They have a museum in there, and you could see the shooting locations too for Friday the 13th, the original.
That's
So
cool.
you could check that out if you want.
Right.
But I just love the fact that it's like I was able to go to a camp. Same thing with Pine Barrens. Pine Barrens was another one that they actually did a filming location at for later on in years.
Right. Yeah. The thing about Friday the 13th is that with every movie that comes out, it just became more ridiculous to the point where it's like, hey, now you got,
He goes to Manhattan.
Jason goes to Manhattan, and the funny thing is that every time I've seen that, you just see him walking around the streets with the hockey mask and stuff, and New Yorkers are just not even acknowledging.
Times Square.
Yeah, in Times
Yep.
Square, they're not even acknowledging him. And I'm like, that sounds like New York a little bit, but it's when he went to space where I was like, okay, I'm done.
Jason X was
Jason
funny.
X was incredible.
That's funny. That's a fun film.
It's
I
like the
love that.
Fast and the Furious of horror movies.
The kill sequences in that movie are incredible.
Now, Leprechaun in space, that was ridiculous.
No, Leprechaun in the Hood was ridiculous.
Okay, so the last guy on our list is Zach, and you have classic left, which
Good luck.
Yeah. So
all right, I'm gonna go B movie, non-time specific.
Okay.
Which is gonna be my favorite found footage style horror, which is VHS.
That's a really good movie.
That's
VHS.
very good. I like
Okay.
Yeah, VHS.
Which
so
one?
my-
The first one? Second?
Yeah.
Or third?
I'm gonna do the first one. But I like the series. I guess there's a new one coming out or out.
It's already out, 1994.
Yeah, I have to. That's me. That's my year.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't seen it yet, but I really enjoyed that. So interesting. So the reason I stumbled on all these like crappy horror movies is my friends and we used to like stay up way too late and drink and watch shitty Netflix horror movies, like just the crappiest things we could find on Netflix. And it
Right.
took us down some rabbit holes. And that's definitely one of them. Red Christmas was another one. So
Have you seen
we-
Creep, Zach?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another like B film. It's actually with Mark Duplass. So if you've seen The League, the show, you probably wouldn't expect that guy to be in some horror films.
Yeah.
But he is absolutely incredible in those. And I mean that's basically what Nick and I do, right? Like I'll go over there and he's like, all right, here's a couple beers. Like, what movie are we gonna watch? Sometimes it's shit. And
Yeah.
most of the time they're pretty good. We try and figure out what we're gonna watch.
Right.
But
Yeah.
VHS is solid. It had some moments in it where it made me jump.
Definitely
I like that a lot.
The one with the chick who's a demon. I like you.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
That was a
the
freaky
one where her head
scene.
splits.
No, she turns into like some sort of like crazed gargoyle and kills the guys in the hotel room when they're trying to hook up. There's a second one. The second VHS has a zombie sequence in a park with a GoPro,
Yeah.
which is really cool. There's one with like a Indian camp where somebody's trying to take care of the kids, but it becomes like a whole cult leader. But you see this huge satanic goat-like creature at the very end attack people. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one kind of freaked me out.
I feel like if we did this again, we there'd be some honorable mentions. I think that we didn't quite get to.
And we'll definitely gonna get to those. But so just to kind of recap, so everybody could hear at least the list that we did. So I'll start with Ralph's. So Ralph under Scary, he has the Blair Witch Project. Under Fun, he has Cabin Fever. Under Classic, he has Night of the Living Dead. Under Vampires, he has The Lost Boys. And under Slasher, he has Candyman. I have on the scary, I have The Exorcist. On the fun, I have Ghostbusters. On the classic, I have the original Dracula. Under vampires, I have Near Dark. And under slasher, I have the original Halloween. Joe has under scary, he has This House or His House. Under fun, he has Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Under classics, he has The Wolf of Snow Hollow. Is that it?
Yeah, it's a B movie, but yeah, The
It's a
Wolf
B
of
movie.
Snow Hollow.
Vampire, he has Let the Right One In, and under slasher, he has Nightmare on Elm Street. Mark has under scary, he has Poltergeist. Under fun, he has Sorority Babes. What is it? Slime Ball Ballerama?
Yep.
Okay. Just wanted to get that right. Under classics, you have Creature from the Black Lagoon. Under vampires, you have Fright Night. And under slasher, you have Friday the 13th. And Zach has, under scary, he has I Am Legend. Under fun, he has Red Christmas. Under classic, VHS. Under vampire, he has Hotel Transylvania. And under slasher, he has Blood Rage. So how do you guys feel about your list? Everybody feels good about it?
Yeah, it seems good. It's something to actually put in the show notes or highly recommended for what we actually suggested. So
yeah. So yeah, anybody out there, just who do you think has the best list? Who do you think has, the list that you would actually probably use as a list to watch movies, for like, let's say a Halloween night or a Halloween, party or something like that. So let us know. You can always drop a note for us on Fantasy Picks Movie Edition at gmail.com. But I wanted to go over some honorable mentions because, again, this genre is so big. In my list, I gave all you guys a list of movies, and on that list, I have The Shining, which always has been put on like one of the top 5 lists out there.
I mean, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick and of course Jack Nicholson at his best. Gave so many memorable lines to that, but just freaking creepy of a movie. You have movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a very visceral type of movie of cannibals, eating people and using their bones as furniture sometimes, so that was actually, I remember seeing that movie in the theater and it just creeped the shit out of me. I was like, what the hell am I watching? Another honorable mention, the movie Alien. It's classic sci-fi horror. Unlike Aliens from James Cameron, which was just a sci-fi action film, this became a very scary movie because you couldn't see the monster all the time. You just didn't know what to expect, and especially that chest-busting scene is just such a classic nowadays. So Psycho is another one. So Psycho with what's the actor's name?
Anthony Perkins.
Anthony Perkins, yes. And there's a very interesting documentary which I've been wanting to see about the scene on the in the shower, that it was, I think they try to do it like 50 takes or something like that. So it was really crazy thing on the perfection that he was trying to look for.
Hitchcock was a perfectionist and he was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
I spoke to Tippi Hedren personally. She says he was very particular.
Yeah. So the other one, The Thing. The Thing was also another movie that
the John Carpenter version?
Yes, the John Carpenter version.
Why you don't even mention the other one, Mark? Jesus Christ.
The other one was called A Thing from Another World.
Yes.
And that's what it was based out of. But no, The Thing actually, the soundtrack, just the look of it.
Yes.
And it was a gory film. I mean, that is a film that it's
Rob Bottin's perfection of like makeup effects.
Yeah.
And toxic effects, I should say, too, because people could get sick from that.
Exactly. But at the end, it leaves you with the question, are the two characters that are left, are they aliens or not? And they
you have
they
to play
never
the video game to find out.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was a what the hell?
There's a video game that came out on PlayStation 2 years ago.
Right.
That you could actually get. And it's a continuation of it. I don't know if you could still get it or not. But
I own it. I own it for Xbox.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised with some of the, with having Ralph on here that he didn't pick Scream or, something like that, because I know he likes that. And then I thought for sure for fun someone would have picked Beetlejuice, but no one did.
Yeah, no, that's another movie, and I was gonna pick Beetlejuice, but I just I like Ghostbusters even more.
Say what you mean, me what you say, Ralph.
I just think that there's so many fun style like Halloween or
there is.
Oh yeah, there is.
It's really hard to reduce it, and that's kind of why I was like, man, there's just a few names that I'd love to just start yelling out.
Of course.
Ready or Not from 2019 was a good one.
Yeah. So what do you have, Zach? Or like, what are your like classics and stuff like that?
Well, I honestly like, I know a lot of people. There's some controversial like newer ones that are great to mention just because they're so impactful, whether they're monumentally stupid. Like in my opinion, like I think the movie Hereditary is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Really?
It has some moments though.
It has moments, man. Let me tell you.
I was not a fan. But like, for example, shoot, did I just lose it?
Oh
no, you're still here.
Get Out.
No. Well, Get Out was a good one. When you said the social commentary piece, like that was immediately what popped into my head.
Right.
Yeah, that and like to have a director come out and have his 1 and 2 be Get Out and Us.
Yeah.
That was crazy just to have that kind of follow up on those 2 movies.
Right.
And there are moments in Us that like Lupita's performance in it, like she freaked me out, like what she was able to do with like her eyes. And then like the mask, it was just oh man, it was really good.
Well, Nope was pretty good too from Jordan Peele as well.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it again, but I liked it.
I haven't seen Nope.
Yeah, and what else you got, Zach?
Sorry, Zach.
No, it's okay. And then I think another one to just mention would be that's a newer one is A Quiet Place. I mean, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt coming out of absolutely nowhere with this crazy concept film, just crushing it. And I feel like it really like made people take John Krasinski seriously as like a serious actor,
right?
Obviously,
and director.
He's very very gifted. And we're always so used to thinking of as him as Jim, and it's just really cool to see.
Funny enough, I never saw. I would never see him in what was it? The Office.
Yeah.
Right. So I never got to see. I just didn't like The Office myself, but I liked him in Jack Ryan, which a lot of people had like. They were
he was good in Jack Ryan.
Yeah, they were either warm or or hot or cold on that, but I actually liked them a lot on that. So
yeah,
another new one that was great, and I'm not sure the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was just
a new take on it. Yep.
New take. The effects, especially in the scene, where she's in the kitchen.
Yeah,
and it was a good social commentary too, based upon how women are perceived and the situations like that too.
Correct.
Yeah. It was there really have been a lot of good movies from recent years.
Yeah, I like the idea of that movie because instead of making it supernatural, they made it as something that you could possibly relate to today.
Yeah,
with the way technology is used nowadays. So
unlike Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon.
Right.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Zach, did you see Malignant?
Oh my God.
Fucking
That
piece
is
of shit.
That is a crazy. That movie just took such a turn all of a sudden towards the end.
I won't ruin it. Watch it.
It's just.
I'd love to know what you think.
It was wild in that sense, but another movie that we sometimes don't even consider a horror film nowadays, and probably one of the best films ever made, and it's a classic.
You're gonna say
Jaws. Yeah, Jaws is Jaws when it first came out. Fucking horror film. It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And it scared a lot of people. So yeah, it was one of those movies where it made such a huge impact, and probably out of every movie in here, it probably made the most money. It probably
Just
on this list,
you know,
yeah.
go swim in Cape Cod right now if you want your real life, Joss, because now
Yeah.
it'll actually be a thing.
Yeah, that is true.
But
we got moose in Danbury and sharks in Cape Cod.
Hold on,
Sure
no.
do.
Kevin Smith's not filming in Danbury yet with Moose Jaws, so it's okay.
so I mean, I'll just list some really quick ones. So Suspiria I have never seen, but it always comes up as
Really?
one of the top 10 movies out there.
That's a good
So
one.
I actually put it on my list of things to watch because everybody raves about it. But you have Night of the Living Dead. Saw is another great movie. I mean, what came after that just sucked really, but
Yeah,
the first
one
movie was
good.
absolutely amazing.
First movie was crazy.
Yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Carrie, An American Werewolf in London, which is so well known for the visual effects and stuff like that. Evil Dead 2. What a great movie that was.
Well, all the Evil Deads. You could do Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness.
Army of Dark.
That-
All of those were actually really good. The Fly from 1986.
Yep, with Jeff Goldblum.
With Jeff Goldblum.
And
That was
Gina
actually
Davis.
incredible. And Drag Me to Hell. You got The Haunting, Nosferatu, The Freaks, The Omen, which to this day I love that movie. It's very creepy to know that there could be a human being out there like that, a little kid.
Well, with vampire films, you could go with 30 Days of Night.
Yes,
Dude, 30 Days a Night, the makeup on like some of the vampires and stuff was really good. It freaked me out. I actually thought of that for my vampire movie because I like it. I like that.
That was
movie.
part of my honorable mentions, along with Subspecies from Full Moon Movies from 1991. It's kind of like one of those B horror movies from the 90s that came out from Full Moon Features.
Right.
You already mentioned Drag Me to Hell. Heather's Ready or Not 2019 I've already mentioned, which is pretty cool. One that is very interesting and not many people perceive it as a really horrible movie, but I think it's terrifying to watch. Frozen. Not the cartoon. Frozen.
I was just gonna
the
say.
horror movie from 2010. Now think of yourself being stuck on a ski lift and the place closes down. So you and two other people are stuck on the ski lift. How many feet up all the way above atop of a mountain overnight when it's freezing cold? And you're stuck there and there are wolves down below.
Go.
And nobody
Let it go.
Nobody has a cell phone. There's nobody on duty. They try to climb dude, it's like the most scariest thing to watch, to think of the reality of like if you had no cell phone or communication and this place just closes and everybody abandons you and it's supposed to go down to -0.
Yeah. So another I would say another honorable mention, Paranormal Activity. When that first came out in the movies, I mean, people were freaking out.
Yeah.
It was, I think, the second found footage movie, probably, if I'm not mistaken, but
that made the record books. I
right,
think.
exactly. That actually made some really good money. I mean, that was actually pretty awesome. The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer.
Hitchhiker. Was it
called
The Hitcher or The
Hitcher? It was called The Hitcher, yeah, with Rutger Hauer. That was actually pretty good. I mean, Rutger Hauer being such a great actor. Silence of the Lambs, another, and it's not really, it's not really considered. I don't know if people consider it a horror film, but it's still very, scary in its own way.
Anybody want to rent that house for the Airbnb?
The what?
You can do that?
You
can do that. That's a new thing now.
Oh,
you can rent the house where Buffalo Bill lived as an Airbnb.
Can I rent the silo?
Actually, the silo portion in the basement was not there. Tom Savini and his students have already created it in the house already so that you get that experience when you go down.
Oh, look at that. Yep, Airbnb time now.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's in Pennsylvania.
So another one I was going to mention, The Ring, which it comes from the movie The Ringu. Right. So those were actually very good. They had like that what is it, that Japanese pretty much Japanese.
Fuck that shit.
My
when they fucking poke their head up in the attic. Fuck that shit.
So my friend paused the movie The Ring on like the little girl's face
Right.
on my computer right
Oh,
in
shit.
front of where I was sleeping in the basement. So when I woke up, it was the first fucking thing I would see. And he stayed up and had it ready to like hit play with like one of the little
Right.
like Bluetooth clicker things. So like it hit play and yeah, like it did like the creepy sound and the music started and like that's what I woke up to. Dude, I nearly flew over the back of the futon in my basement. I was like fucking shit.
It just seems like you are a magnet for these
Oh,
pranks, man.
that same friend, the first night I was staying home alone, like I told him, and his dad used to work for Kurzweil Keyboards, and so he had all these sick keyboards in his house. And the first thing he did was call me, put like a caller ID blocker on, and just played the Halloween theme on my answering machine. So he just sat there and played it. I knew it was him. I was like, mother, because he's the only person I know who like could play the piano really well. So
the other movies I have, The Descent, which actually surprised me on how good that actually was.
Yes.
At least I liked it.
yeah, this sound wasn't bad.
Yeah. Eraserhead, which was one of the weirdest movies I have ever seen in my life.
What about Scanners?
Scanners is another one, but Eraserhead actually came out in this documentary about sound and sound design in movies. And it was they put that as an example, and when I saw the images, I said, I have to see this movie. Man, let me tell you, I regret seeing that. But Amityville Horror, which is actually in Amityville, Long Island, I got to see the house while visiting my uncle in the area one time. You have The Sixth Sense, Devil, which was actually done by, I believe, by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes.
And it was about, the devil being in an elevator.
Yep.
Which was pretty cool. Then you got Zombieland, which is also another fun, movie that Bill Murray comes out on. Hill Has Eyes, Resident Evil. You got, there's just so many. Babadook. Anybody saw the Babadook?
I saw a little bit of it. I never really watched the whole thing.
Yeah. So 28 days. 28 days later. You got Christine. Great movie there. Makes you not want to buy a classic car. Pet Sematary.
The original.
Yeah.
The original.
I've got to say,
yeah,
that my favorite piece of horror content isn't a movie.
No,
it's The Haunting of Hill House.
That is classic, though.
That is a movie.
No, not Haunting, not that one. I'm talking about the Netflix series.
Oh, okay.
That's probably my favorite horror.
Yeah, with Henry Thomas.
Dude, that thing,
it's
that one
so
scene
well done
in the car.
Yeah. Oh man,
Ooh-wee.
that's the biggest adrenal response I think my body's ever gone through.
Yeah. I almost
they did a house last year for Halloween Horror Nights. It was pretty good. It sucked because last year they had like the plastic guards up for the scare actors, so like you kind of saw where shit was coming from, but like they did like the doorknobs moving and shit, and yeah, it was pretty neat to walk through the house, and you walk through the room with the noose hanging.
Oh, cool.
So they do, like, if you're interested in this stuff, like it's for me, it's usually more of an appreciation of set design than anything, because you get to like they did Freddy vs. Jason, so you walk through the camp bunk from Friday the 13th, Camp Crystal Lake, and then through the doors of Elm Street house, and like you're like, your wildest nightmares are coming to life. You're like, holy shit, I'm walking to Freddy's house. This is insane. And like they do such a good job recreating it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anyway, guys, you can reach me at bentnecklady69 at yahoo.com. And have
a good night. So I'll wrap it up very quickly here. So I mean, movie like Hellraiser, and as a matter of fact, there's a new one coming out. So Hellraiser actually very good. The Fog, I actually like that movie, the original. It was actually very interesting. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Cloverfield. You got Phantasm, Dark Skies, Children of the Corn,
Evil.
Reanimator, The Mist, which I just watched the other day, which I thought it was actually still pretty cool. Child's Play, which is actually, I don't know if I call that a fun movie because it's really stupid, but it's
but dude, the terrifying effect it has on kids.
Yeah,
like my son, my son's never even seen it, but he saw the commercial on USA, and he's like, "Dad, are you watching live TV? Because I can't see that commercial." I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?" I'm like, it's Chucky, it's a toy. Don't be scared of it." But I also have grown ass cousins that are still afraid of Chucky, so I understand.
Yeah. So,
I mean, Chucky's pretty scary, but you guys ever see The Lion King?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Have you seen a live action Little Mermaid?
So the other ones, just to wrap it up. So I got, The Blob, Salem's Lot, The Howling. I mean, there's so much. So one that I should have actually picked for scariest, and there's a story behind it, was The Grudge. And the reason for that is a lot of people didn't think The Grudge was that great, but here's why I think it's, for me, is one of the creepiest ones that I have ever seen. I went to see this movie during the day, but there was nobody in the theater. And I was the only one in the theater watching The Grudge. So what happens with these theaters are that they expect to have about 100, 200 people in this theater. So they crank up the AC because, of course, so much body heat comes out. Well, guess what? When there's only one person, there's not that much need for so much AC. So I was freezing, and I'm watching The Grudge in the middle of a dark theater by myself. And it was just one of those things where I'm shivering, but at the same time, I'm watching this creepy ass movie by myself as I'm looking over my shoulder, because every time, you saw like the hand coming above the shoulder or in the back of the neck or something. That was my creepy movie for me there. But so I mean, look, from werewolves to vampires to zombies and all that stuff, there have been some amazing movies. There's also been a lot of fun movies, which we didn't cover that much here, but stuff like Gremlins, things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is also fun, Beetlejuice, which we also covered, Addams Family. Those are actually fun movies that you can actually watch and just have a good time with your family if you like. So yeah, so this is our podcast on our top 5 horror film draft. And like I said, if you think one of us actually has the best list, or which list do you like, or if you have your own list, I would love to hear from you guys and see what it is that you guys out there have in mind for Season of the Witch. So Mark, where can they hear you?
You could hear me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. That can be found on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network. All you have to do is go to the Pirate Core Entertainment Network.com site, and you could just check out all the episodes for the Pirate Core Entertainment family, including Fantasy Picks movie editions. You could also hear me on Panels to Pixels podcast on the Next Level online radio podcast network, currently covering She-Hulk and the Umbrella Academy. And you could also hear me on the Podcastica Network on Sandman Cast.
Cool. Zach, where can we find you?
You find me under the overpass, just thinking about the terrifying imagery of Scar staring me in the eyes as if I were a baby Simba.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I enjoy doing these, and we'll definitely come up with something especially for the holidays and Christmas. I don't think there's stuff out there for Thanksgiving, but who knows? We might just make some shit up.
Yeah, there is. There's a movie called Thanksgiving.
Oh,
no,
but I'm saying more Thanksgiving movies that we could do.
There are a ton of. There's Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving. So
Joe's about to get pegged by a zombie.
No, there we go. Hey, that's the most action he's seen on that bald head of his.
Yeah, the zombie's gonna lick his head clean.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being on, and we will catch you later.